the information is still applicable with wherever you are in your career and wherever you're trying to go. And then joining the program and just getting it's one of those things like, you just need a few little tweaks. Like it's still good, it still works. You just have to tweak it here and tweak it there. And just those few tweaks, I mean, went from zero to a hero. 20 years, I've done it the hard way, and then just to be able to have that shift, that was worth anything to me. That was worth the investment. That alone was worth.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are welcoming our very special guest, Cynthia Lewis. She is one of our super successful students here at Mortgage Marketing Coach. And welcome, Cynthia. We're so glad to have you here today.
Oh, Penny, thank you so much for having me. It truly is an honor.
Ah, that's wonderful. I thought we would just get started today, just jump right into the questions, just to have some fun. We love interviewing our success stories because it's always great to hear about, their story, right? So why don't we jump into your story? So tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe where you are, how long you've been in business, what inspired you to get in the business?
Sure. So, like you said, Cynthia Lewis, I am in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. So, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk area, 757 is what is affectionately known as. And I am the founder and CEO of New Dominion Mortgage, which is my brokerage, which opened in 2022. I have actually been in the mortgage business since 2003. I got in right after college. I am a survivor of 2008 because when the world collapsed and real estate went down the toilet, so to speak, I actually still continued to stay in the business. Really, what got me into the business, oddly enough, my dad just suggested it. I thought I wanted to be a real estate agent. And my dad was like, yeah, why don't we try and use something of that degree towards something? And he had a couple of friends that were in the business. He had a couple friends in the industry, and one connection led to another. And I started at the countrywide full spectrum lending. If you know anything about, the time
Yes.
before we are today, pre 2008, I started at Countrywide. And honestly, it was just a natural thing for me. I don't want to say that it was easy, but it came naturally. And so, working with clients and working with customers and learning the products, it just became very easy. And very shortly, with my time there, my tenure there, I rose to one of the top producing loan officers in the office and in the company within months. And then when that was very successful, and then of course, like I referenced, 2008 market shifted, things changed, and I decided to stay in. A lot of my colleagues got out, a lot of people in the business got out overall, but I just felt like at that time, like, hey, I learned this, I just need to apply what I've learned in a different arena, but still real estate, still mortgages. And so I decided to stay in, and here we are today.
Wow. Such an incredible story. I love that. I love that your dad inspired you to get into this line of work. I love that you powered through the challenges of 2008 because, as you mentioned, many people did leave the business. So I love that that brought you through here to the other side today. I can't wait to hear more about your success as we get to pick your brain a little bit today. So I know 2008 was such a life changing moment for the mortgage and real estate industry in the world, really,
Yeah.
everywhere, but especially in the US. Um, and so tell me a little bit about maybe some challenges or maybe a problem that you may have faced prior to joining our program.
I would say prior to joining your program, I think I faced the same problem that I faced in 2008, right? So when I
Yes.
started in the business, I was in a refinance shop. And so that was mainly consumer direct. Didn't have to build relationships, so to speak. The world flipped upside down. That now became the new norm, getting out here and building relationships. And I did that very successfully for many years up until coming to the program, and did many different avenues. There was true relationship building, there were lead generation splits, MSAs. I've done it all. And then I find myself pre the program, literally, life is full circle, literally feeling like I was exactly where I was in 2008, right? Statistically speaking, they said that 2022 was worse than 2008, statistically speaking, as far as the real estate industry is concerned.
Yes.
Mainly because in '08 subprime took a beating, but the A side of the world was still okay. 2022, real estate as a whole, definitely was taking some beating. So here I am, full circle moment with the heavier weight, right? Because now it's not
Yes.
just me, it's not just originating, it's an entire organization, it's a company. And I'm finding myself in the exact same position. But I think what kind of added a little insult to the industry is I've been here before. I know how to do this. Like, why is this so challenging to me? And pre-program, that was one of the biggest things that I expressed to Dorian is I feel like someone, and my heart and prayer always goes out to individuals, but like my father had a stroke. And from his stroke, which he's great now, he's gotten everything back. That's wonderful. But right after the stroke, he had to learn how to walk again. And the
Wow.
level of frustration because to know that you know how to do something and yesterday you could do it and now today you can't. And I liken that very similar to that, right? I know how to do
Yes.
this or I knew how to do this, but today what I'm producing says that I can't. And I was just totally stuck. And then joining the program and just getting it's one of those things like, you just need a few little tweaks. Like it's still good, it still works. You just have to tweak it here and tweak it there. And just those few tweaks, I mean, went from zero to a hero. Like just
Wow.
took off.
Oh, I love that. That's incredible. So tell me, have you tried other programs before? And if you had, what did you find that maybe wasn't working in some of them in the past?
So I've had several coaches over my career. I believe in coaching 100%. There are some other things that Dorian does, and once we get through this wave, I'll be back. I'm a firm believer in coaching. For me, I think some of the bigger challenges were the coaches that I had could only get me to a certain point. Um, I would say, vividly speaking, the last challenge that I had with my last coach was I wanted to build a business. This was even pre the organization, pre the company. I wanted to build a business that worked in spite of me. And they wanted me to build a business that solely ran because of me. And so we just had different perspectives on how we wanted our businesses to run. What I love about Dorian's programs, working with you guys, is it's not tailored to doing it one way. The information is so universal. Whatever way that you like to do it, it works. You can apply it to whatever format works for you. And for me, in the seat that I sat in, I was like, hey, I don't need to be the mega producer, but I do need to sharpen my skills so that I can also pass this down to others as well. Because I was in a place of questioning, like maybe I don't know what I'm doing, and maybe I shouldn't be advising, the next person of this. So I would say that was probably the biggest challenge. And what I love about the program is that the information is very much universal. You can use it whatever stage you're in, whatever stage of the game you're in. A lot of the individuals that I was on the call with, I mean, it could be anybody from this is my first day, to hey, I've been in this for 10 years, etc. But the information is still applicable with wherever you are in your career and wherever you're trying to go. And I think that's the challenge I've had with most other companies is it's very pigeonholed to their beliefs and their theories. And that is okay. It just wasn't for me.
Right. Wow. That's incredible. So powerful. There's so much tidbits of information I'd love to break down in that, but that is just incredible. So, when we talk about some of the things you've tried in the past and how it kind of felt a little pigeonholing, would you say that's kind of like a fear that you would have associated with maybe making that decision to join? Like, so when we have you join, we go, screw it, let's do it, right? And you
Mhm.
invest in the program. What do you think was maybe the biggest fear that originally was lying within you before you just kind of put your foot down one day and said, screw it, let's do it. I'm going to join this program? What would you say was like a big fear that kind of led you to that?
Easy. My fear was that I was gonna do the program and my mind still wasn't gonna change.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. So you found the mindset components to be incredible. It's very popular for sure, and I think it's really the foundation of everything we do here. And you've embraced it so beautifully, and I love that. So we are so proud of you. It's
Thank you.
amazing, absolutely. So let me ask, why our program versus somebody else's program?
You know what? I think I had a "screw it, let's do it" mentality, because it honestly was the first one that popped up in my Instagram feed. I
Okay.
spoke with Dorian.
Yep.
I loved everything. Again,
Yes.
tears, it moved me.
Yes.
It spoke to a level of not just origination, not just loans, not just the logistics or the mechanics. It spoke to a higher self, higher version, a higher meaning of this whole thing, right? And that's, again, for me, a believer, that was just on another level, if that makes sense, having that
Yes.
conversation and saying, "Hey, this isn't about just getting transactions through the door. That's the byproduct of getting your mind in sync, getting you in sync, getting to a place of enjoyment and fulfillment because, you've originated,
Yes.
it takes all of you. This business can take all of you, and when you're just at the point of flat drained, sometimes there's nothing that anybody else can say. So again, it was the first thing that popped up on my feed. So it was a very much a mindset of let's screw it, let me do it. Called Dorian, had that conversation. Now I did do my due diligence after our conversation, though I had already committed. Um, I did call a couple of other companies just to see. I think it's always good to do your research. And
Of course.
that synergy just wasn't there. It was very mechanical. It sounded like a lot of it was just, "Hey, do this. This will work." And for me, I've been in for a long time, so I can see through the fluff. I can see through the, just 20 calls a day. Like I can see through those things and
Yes.
see also too the intention that was behind it. And that's one thing that I can say about you guys is that you guys are very the coaching, the program, the organizations, the individuals, they're very intentional, right? You guys are intentional about everybody's success. You're intentional about getting the information over and everybody receiving that information and applying it. And for me, in my research after the fact, it felt more like just a numbers game, right? We can get so many people on the phone, get so many in, have so many conversations, it will convert into X amount of sales. And I just didn't feel that way with you all, with Dorian. I felt that it was genuinely about one success, genuinely about, hey, let's get you out of this place.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. So, as you went through the program, there was probably maybe some spots or highlights within the program that you really loved. What would you say stood out for you in terms of the program? What part of the program was the most helpful to you?
You know what? I would say I love the Booking Beast because that's my
Okay.
world. That's my realm. I tell everyone I know loans. But business development, prospecting, that's my game. That's my lane. So that, and something just so simple as do it first. 9 o'clock in the morning, block out the time, let it rip, and then just quantifying it, right? Into this amount of calls, this amount of this amount of, appointments or setup. Just even quantifying that to where you can know if you had a level of success or not. And again, 20 years and did it a million different ways. Doing that first made me feel so accomplished for the day. I've made the money, and just that mindset of like, hey, if you got paid I think one of the challenges were if you got paid, it was either $1,000 a call or $10,000 a call, how many calls would you make? And when you quantify that into, okay, X amount of calls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, yields me X amount, it just became a game. It was just fun. It has become fun for me again. I can't wait to do it. I will lock myself in a room. I will stay home before I go to the office. Like you will not interrupt that power hour for me. So that, and I'll probably say the cold showers, which, I hate to admit it, I only did it twice. It's not my jam, but I appreciate it. I get what it does.
Yes. Oh, that's incredible. I love that. So I know before we started recording today, we got a little bit of information from you to learn a little bit about some of the success that you have had. And I know one of the questions that we had was, how did this change and implement your or impact your income? And one of the questions you had answered had said that you had boosted your income by approximately $25,000 a month since implementing this program. So tell me a little bit about how implementing this program created that outcome for you.
Absolutely. So for me, I deal more so in just personal income. I deal in revenue for the organization. And so implementing this program, we were able to, because again, remember, I opened in a downward market, so to speak. The market shifted or a market cleanse, let me say that. The market shifted, it cleansed. So a lot of my solid referral partners got out of the business. And then we went from being in a bull market to a bear market. And then we have a new company. And so there's a bit of a learning curve there. There's all these things. And so it just became like super, super, super challenging to, really just get anything through and to get anything done. But once I was able to get that prospecting mode and get in that zone, because in our world, prospecting equals revenue, a few other steps, but ultimately we prospect and that lands to revenue. I was not only to take that on for myself, but now I'm able to pass that down to my loan officers, right? And so a lot of companies have a time frame where they block out from for operations, right? Like from 9 to 12, operations do not disturb. Well, I do the same thing for my loan officers, right? From 9 to 10, do not disturb them. They start work theoretically at 10 because from 9 to 10, they should be making calls. They don't have to. It is optional. Anything that they do is optional, but here are my recommendations. And some of them have tried me at my word and taken that advice, and I've seen increase in their personal revenue. So we've really been able to gain a lot of traction. And just from those simple steps, there are a few other things from the program that I have yet to implement. Just sitting in a bit of a different seat, right? Having to pull some people along. We needed to fill a marketing seat, which we have now done. And so now we're getting ready to open up the floodgates even the more with some of the things that we've learned with the program. So just, I know I focused a lot in this on the prospecting aspect, but that was the biggest game changer and revenue pusher for me at that time because that's where the stall was.
Yes. Wow. That's incredible. So let's talk a little bit about how your personal life has changed. So, because you kind of touched on a little bit, that creating this additional income, how it's impacting your business. How has it impacted you? What would you say? Like, is there something that's sort of life changing for you that you've experienced since achieving these new higher numbers?
Absolutely. Again, sitting in a little bit of a different seat because I'm revenue driven versus personal income driven, but even still driving more revenue for the company is allowing me to scale and it is allowing me to grow, which ultimately will allow me to be in the seats or in seats that I want to be in. But I will also say, so it revenue wise, income wise, it has improved drastically, right? The more you make, we all know this is America. The more we make, the more we're able to do things. We're able to live the lives that we desire to live. I shared in my initial call with Dorian, I've made this money before. So it wasn't personal as far as income was concerned. For me, it was a little bit more revenue. But being able to shift the company and to be able to grow a few more milestones. And then I will honestly say mentally, it's put me back in a place where I love what I do. I've always had like a love for it, but like anything, you can become frustrated. You can just feel like you're running the head up against the wall. I can't do another day of this. Then you add a tough market on top of that, and it just, it feels hopeless. So for me, that mental check-in was just amazing. And just having that mental shift has shifted every other aspect.
Wow. That's incredible. I love this for you. So, you have told us some incredible insights here in regards to how this program has helped you, how you've grown personally. I really, really love all of this that you've shared. So, let me flip the script a little bit for a quick second here. So, if you hadn't joined the program, where do you think you'd be right now if you hadn't joined the program?
I can tell you exactly where I would be. I would still be in business, but I would have downsized. And I would have probably taken it down to myself and an assistant. And I would have just accepted the fate of, hey, this is what it is. And I'm okay with that because that was my plan B, to be 100% honest. So wipe it clean, take it down, do X amount of transactions a month, and that's enough.
Yes. But instead, you've been able to have this tremendous, beautiful, wonderful growth. And it sounds like you're in this wonderful place mentally as well. Like it sounds like just your mindset is locked in and you're shining today. You're absolutely glowing. And I love that for you. So I want to ask if there was someone watching right now that was on the fence about booking a call to speak with us about joining the program, what would you say to them?
Screw it, just do it.
I love that line. I
I would
love that
honestly
line.
say that, and it's not to be cliche. It is not to, just take the tagline and run with it. But it is genuinely, my thought processes and how I feel. You can overthink some things, and I understand, analyzing, thinking, walking through the process. But if you're at a place where you don't know what else to do, then do this. Definitely do this because there's something that's going to awaken in you that is going to take you to next levels. It's going to, you guys are going to pull something out. And I've seen it not just in myself, but on the other calls that I've been on. And I listen to the people and I listen to their success stories and I listen how they went from, literally no loans to, a pipeline full of loans. And I'm so grateful for organizations like this because a lot of real estate companies, mortgage companies, loan officers are brought into this business and they're never taught that you're really a business and a business. You're responsible for making your phone ring. You're responsible for the deals. Like they're not taught that. They're not giving the tools. And so to be able to see that there's an organization out there that's, hey, I'm not only going to show you how to do this, I'm going to show you to have the right mindset. I'm going to show you, again, 20 years in the game. Simple. Prospect first thing in the morning. Oh my gosh, so mind blowing. Before you check an email, before you take a phone call, before you get ticked off about something or dragged into something, do your needle moving thing first thing in the morning. 20 years in. So 20 years, I've done it the hard way, and then just to be able to have that shift, that was worth anything to me. That was worth the investment. That alone was worth it. And you really do get to work with you guys. You really do get to a place where you can build a business that you don't want to take a vacation away from, but you can take a vacation, right? Today, I'm actually out of the office. I'm actually technically off and I've been working all day and it doesn't even bother me.
That's incredible. That's one of the fun things that I've always said is building a life you don't need a vacation from, right? And
Absolutely.
it sounds like you're achieving that. It sounds like, since joining the program, a lot of things have changed for you. You've had business growth that you maybe otherwise wouldn't have had. You've had growth in your personal income. You've had personal development growth. I'm just so incredibly I don't even I'm speechless. I really am. I'm just so incredibly proud of you. I know Doran is
Thank
incredibly
you.
proud of you. You are an absolute shining star. You can see it in the smile on your face too, of how much you really love doing this. So I really want to thank you so much for your time today, Cynthia. We really appreciate you taking some time in your schedule to have this little call and little interview together today.
Absolutely.
I am going to just let our guests know as well that, if you're kind of feeling like Cynthia was before she joined, or if you've seen any of our content and you're curious to learn more, if you would like to learn more, if you'd like to have some incredible achievements like Cynthia has had here today, I encourage you to book a call by going to mortgagemarketingcoach.com/chat. That's mortgagemarketingcoach.com/chat. We would love to have a conversation with you. Doran and his team are more than happy to have a conversation with you to let you know what's possible for you as well. We would love to welcome you aboard. So, thank you again, Cynthia, so much for your time today. I really look forward to connecting again with you soon. And yes, thank you again. So blessed to have you as part of the tribe here. You've had such incredible success, and we are so incredibly proud of you. So, thank you. And we will
Thank
chat again
you.
soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too. Thank you.